The first thing I'd say, it is always barbecue season.
Welcome to a brand new season of Borough Talks, the Borough Market podcast. I'm author and food writer Giulia Crouch, and in each episode I'll be sitting down with the traders at London's most iconic market to get to know the stories behind the stalls.
People come to a market for an experience. They come open-eyed and hungry.
As you walk through the market, you are immediately hit by its smells, sounds and sights. Freshly baked bread, towers of cheese.
It's hard as a rock, it doesn't need a fridge, and it's used to season your foods.
Cups of steaming coffee, the shucking of oysters, and hot, sizzling pans. It's a treasure trove of deliciousness. Each trader has a unique story to tell.
What would you order?
Laksa. It's a curry noodle soup from Singapore, Malaysia.
So much of the joy of food is sharing it with other people, and that's what Borough Market is all about. We'll be taking you with us as we discover the passion, expertise, and characters that make Borough Market so unique, as we share good food with the people who live and breathe it every day.
Cheers, guys.
This is Borough Talks. I'm very pleased to welcome to the podcast Urvesh Parvais of Gujarati Rasoi and Salina Khairunnisa from the stall Joli. Now, you both have amazing hot food stands in Borough Market, and you have for many years. Salina, tell me how yours came into existence.
We were invited to trade at Borough Market in 2012 during the Olympics, and we have actually stayed.
It's an amazing amount of time. What kind of food do you sell?
I sell Malaysian cuisine, but my background is more of the Peranakan. We are actually the migrants from China who goes to Malaysia and married the locals over there.
Yeah.
And that's why we have mixture of cuisine of the Chinese and the Malay, including the Indians and Indonesians as well.
It's quite a rich cuisine, many different influences.
Yes, many influences from the surrounding area and obviously our own.
What are some of the signature dishes?
Our signature dishes is actually like nasi lemak, which is a coconut-based rice with curries and little condiments like fried anchovies, boiled eggs, fresh cucumbers and all that. Yeah.
Tell me about traditional clay pot cooking. Why is that technique used?
I grew up with clay pots cooking, and it's extremely effective for slow cook. They are more alkaline in nature and interact with the acidity of the ingredients that help neutralize the acidity and maintain our body pH level and make our food easier to digest.
How long have people been cooking like this? Is this an ancient technique?
I think ancient techniques has been for forever. And like I said, because it's a lot of new utensils are introduced, people kind of forget about the clay pot cooking. But clay pot cooking is actually very good, and it actually holds the moisture and holds the nutrients of the product. So, for instance, anything like to do with meat, because we want a nice, good texture with good aroma and still keep the spices intact, so we use the clay pot cooking. Yeah.
That sounds delicious. So it kind of influences the texture of the food and the flavour, retains the flavours a bit more.
Retains all the nutrients as well of the food. Yeah.
I love this kind of ancient wisdom. I find it so fascinating.
Yes.
Urvesh, tell me about the food of your stall and how long you've been in Borough Market.
Much the same as Salina. We've been here for coming up to about 20 years. And the food that we sell is Gujarati food, which is regional. So, people talk about regionality in respect of European food. I mean, we all know about Italy and the wonderful different regions there and so forth. But the same applies to India.
Massively.
And hugely. And so the food changes from, literally one area to another. It's just
even one village to another.
One neighbour to another often as well.
Yeah.
Whose
so
is the best.
It's not just regionality, it's like hyper-regionality.
Ultimately, yes.
Tell me about the village where you're from and the kind of food that people cook there.
So it's a very rural part of India. There's lots of arable farming. my immediate neighbours, we still have a lovely little kind of tiny house there, and it's the ancestral home, and we go back there every now and then. Next door, still descendants of my great grandfathers, so we're all related, and they keep cows in the back. There's like milk and dairy and yogurt being made all the time next door.
Oh, that's cool.
And then we've got all around us the influence of whatever's being grown. One of the main crops in Gujarat is sugarcane, so that's influenced the food a little bit. Probably, depending on your taste for tolerance for sugar, probably more than what we'd be used to, but it's in the food, and also it's influenced, as it would be in any sort of rural part of the world, by whatever's immediate, what's growing, what's seasonal, So the food itself is all vegetarian.
I was just about to ask
so
that.
So the whole of Gujarat technically is vegetarian. However, there are people who eat whatever, It's not as if it doesn't exist.
It's not banned, but people
do.
It's not in the culture.
People do, yeah. And it's not an issue either. But essentially, they say it's a vegetarian state. Because of that, there's this huge plethora of different ingredients and dishes that have evolved over time. So if you're not eating meat, then you've got to have some alternative that gives you the nutrients, the textures, the enjoyment that perhaps you might get from eating meat. And so in order to tick all those sensory boxes and also nutritional boxes, there's this massive array of different dishes. And so in Gujarat it's famous for its thalis, because there's always like 15 or different dishes on a plate. And so, the food is essentially all vegetarian. If you think about life in the village, it would be seasonal. And if you think about life in the village maybe 100 years ago, maybe 200 years ago, that's how I like to think about our food still.
I find that really interesting, and I think often with cultures that have had to rely on plant-based foods more than meat, they've become a little bit more creative with their food, and it's often that's where you find the most delicious cuisine, is where they've had this like ingenuity a bit more. What are some of the staple foods or dishes?
Okay, so I explained that it's like a rural background I come from, and they're farmers, my family, from a long time ago. And so you can imagine they've got to go and plough the fields and do all the things that farmers do. So they need hearty food that gets them through the day. But the food needs to be nutritional and solid. So things like your dals, you've got fibre, you've got protein there, you've got energy, super tasty. You've got all the different types of breads. You've got the parathas, obviously chapatis, you've got teplas, you've got aloo parathas, loads of different types of breads, and rice dishes as well. Very simple. The rice is always eaten with a dal or with something like a curry. Curry is like a yogurt soup, and it's hot, and it's made with curry leaves and cumin. It's really delicious. Yeah, so good with just amazing. Rice. And so it's really rustic, kind of simple, honest ingredients, and made in a really authentic family recipe sort of way.
And this is the food that you serve now at your store?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. I mean, the food we serve here, the recipes hark back to like 2 or 3 generations, if not further. And the reason why they're intact, and the reason why I believe them to represent the food that was eaten a couple of 100 years ago, if not beyond, in the village, is that we've migrated. And so my family, my grandparents moved from India to East Africa, and then my parents' generation moved from East Africa to the UK. Obviously I have my own nostalgia kind of like reference points, but for them, their reference points were my mum's generation, and my grandparents' generations their reference points were back to India. And my great-grandparents would be thinking that as well. So the food evokes all these memories, and if you change the recipe, it's not going to evoke the memory.
Food is so nostalgic, and food is so connected to memory. You taste something or you smell something that you haven't had for a while, and it can just remind you of a certain person. It sounds to me like tradition and family recipes and preserving those family recipes is quite important to the both of you. Salina, how important is authenticity to you when it comes to the food that you make?
I think it's very important because people do kind of expect, although it may not be identical or similar like what they have tasted from their parents' kitchen or the grandparents' kitchen, but at least they feel that, oh wow, this is real food I can get in London, because I have many customers who come to our stall and ate my rendang and came back and says, we couldn't even get this in Singapore. I says, really? That kind of thing.
It makes people happy, I think.
Yes, I think especially if they come from Asia, where I come from, then it's kind of validations that, wow, it's real that this is good food,
That's a great compliment, isn't it? When
I
someone
think,
comes from your own culture to tell you this reminds me of home or my family's food, or
exactly.
You're like, there couldn't be a better compliment, really.
That's the best
I
thing
think
ever.
So.
Yeah.
So for me to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and sleep only 4 hours is fine. I'm very happy to do that. That makes me stick. That actually makes me take.
Urvesh, for you, how do you feel about authenticity? Do you ever change your food for a London audience, or do you want to make the real deal like your grandma would have made?
So authenticity is super important, but I have dared to make subtle changes. As I said, my grandmother's food was super spicy, and I also mentioned that there was an influence of the sugarcane in the food. And so Gujarati food, often people say, oh, it's got sugar in it, it's sweet, I don't want that. But actually, I've pulled back and taken a lot of it out. So there's very little sugar now, only where you need it, and with the spiciness I've tempered that to my own taste. I like to be able to taste all the layers of flavour and depth of flavour, and if it's just chili, that's all you're going to get, and there's no excitement for me in that. So I've kind of just tuned things a little bit so that other flavours can speak a bit more. But that's as much as I dare to do, really.
Well, I think with family recipes, they evolve through the generations, and that's quite nice because you add a little layer and then you can pass that on, and it's just, I
don't think there's anything wrong with that at all.
No, me neither.
I think it's healthy, and then the way that I was taught, it was also, here's the recipe, and it was also a formal lesson. You must teach your own children as well. You cook together, and that's how they learn, right? And you don't give them a recipe, you kind of intuitively put things in the pot, and they see how things are working. They might not be registering it, they may well be by osmosis or what have you, they'll be drinking it in. And when they then go to cook, they go, oh yeah, that's when you do that, and that's when you do that. They'll have this muscle memory, this visual memory, this understanding, without it being formally taught to them.
It sounds like you're both very instinctive cooks. Can you tell me about some of your memories of like learning to cook? Who taught you to cook, and what are some of the first things you made, Salina?
I come from a Peranakan family where all girls need to learn how to cook. So from a very young age, like 7, 8 years old, we'll start the menial job, like peeling the bottom of the bean sprouts, the roots, and shelling the prawns, even de-seeding the chili seeds and all that.
As a 7-year-old?
7 years old, yeah.
I hope they told you not to touch your eyes afterwards.
And then we are taught to do mise en place, basically. Yeah, at that age where it's important for presentation before cooking and after cooking as well.
That's really interesting. I didn't know that was a factor.
Yes, we have to, because I was trained at the Cordon Bleu school where we took 1 week to learn how to cut vegetables. I cut vegetables since I was very young. And the way we do it is like once you cut it, my parents, especially my father, very important that when he eats, say, a piece of cucumber, it has to be like kind of same size with the rest, And it's
That's
important.
not like my cooking. I'm so slapdash with mine.
But it is a consideration, though, isn't it? Because when you eat, it needs to be the size that fits on your utensil in your mouth.
Exactly.
You get the right amount of flavour from it. If it's too small or too big, it makes a big difference.
Yes, it has to be all kind of like similar size. So my Cordon Bleu training was actually from very young.
That's very impressive.
Yes.
But how does it make you feel to do this job?
Actually, I did not plan to have this business. It was by chance. I started making chilies and chili oils actually for charity. And within a year, it became a business. So, and it was not planned at all. And I retired at the age of 40. I was very blessed because I worked for Middle Eastern company and they made me redundant and I was comfortable, but with my nature I can't just sit about, and so I started to make the chili jars. That's where I started to sell it in schools and every other places, and the money I gave it to charity, and within a year it became a business, and then the rest is history.
And it sounds like your story, Urvesh, is slightly similar. Like, did you cook a meal for your friends with your mum?
Yeah,
and they
that's
loved
right.
it.
Yeah, I mean, so we started at Broadway Market, and there was this is years ago when there was literally nothing there. It was just starting. And I thought, okay, well, this is a great opportunity to share the food that I grew up with other people. And so for years I've been, when I studied and so forth, to go to a restaurant to eat. If it was an Indian restaurant, they put food in front of you. It was really tasty, but it was nothing, it didn't represent anything that I was used to eating at home. I was like, what is this? I'm not quite sure. It's like some sort of, its roots may have looked like the food that I eat at home, but it's evolved into something completely other. Tasty, right thing at the right time, it's really good, but it was just not representative of what I understood as Indian food or food from home. So I thought, actually, you know what? I shared these different tastes and flavors with friends along the years, and they're like, okay, this is different. Those people who traveled came back and said, oh yeah, this is what it should taste like. Yeah, I get it now. And so I thought, okay, well, let's try this thing out on Broadway Market, see if it works. And so my mum used to come down from Leicester. I was living in East London at the time. We'd both meet at the markets, and then we'd put that at our stall, and it was literally to see, okay, does anyone get it? You know, will anyone understand what we're trying to do here, or understand the difference? And we were blown away. People really got it.
What was it like for you when that really resonated with people?
Yeah, it was a thrill. It was like, okay, finally, you know, okay, this is real Indian food. It's like Indian food as Gujaratis eat it, as we eat it at home, and it's, you know, come to our home, be a guest in our home at our market store. You know, this is the sort of like concept. And so it was a thrill. We were really flattered that people understood it, and we were also, our minds were open, or our eyes were open to the fact that a lot of people had lived in parts of where we're from longer than we have, and you know, they're Europeans and they're from all over the world, and be like, actually, what, you know all these places and you know these foods probably as well as I do. It's amazing. And so we were flattered by the idea that people appreciated what we did, and maybe there's scope for this on a larger scale, and we just carried on doing it, see where it takes us.
And what does cooking mean to you both?
It's sharing something of yourself, you know, sharing something that you really love, that you believe in, that's a legacy, a history that's been taught to you. It's sharing all of those ideas, sharing good food, sharing the idea that you're actually nourishing somebody, you know, with something wholesome, that's not processed, that's not been through this modern mangle of food manufacture. It's actually an honest process, and we've taken whole ingredients and we're delivering them to people and saying, eat this. It's a representation of what we believe in, what we've always believed in, and good food, and it's honest, and we want you to also enjoy the food as well as the love we put into it.
Massively, yeah. It must bring you a lot of joy. Salina, how does it feel for you?
I feel the same too. I feel like the labor of my love is not only, if I give you the recipe, you could probably cook the same like me, but it tastes different. It would taste different because I believe there's so much joy and love that I put in there.
Yeah.
And I really wanted to, like you said, to deliver the message to people that, look, we can get good, authentic Malaysian food in London.
So I want to ask you guys about street food. We are absolutely obsessed with street food in London and in the UK. Why do you think we're so crazy for it?
It's a lot of fun to eat on the markets.
Yes.
It's accessible, affordable. I think that, you know, at this moment in time, people are conscious of price and so forth.
Yes.
So street food is an easy way to go out, have fun for an evening, you know, have a drink, have a great choice as well of food, and choose intuitively. You don't have to make your mind up like a week before and make a booking.
Yes,
You just turn up
yes,
and you know, you
yes.
can kind of go, okay, I fancy that.
Yeah, and
you know.
you can get premium quality food, accessible, and a lot cheaper than going to restaurants and all that, you know. Yeah.
Do you think there's something exciting about eating outside? Maybe standing up, eating somewhere, like being with people?
I think when, you know, there was a time when people would go on holiday and they'd go and eat out in a you know, al fresco or in a souk somewhere, or, you know, that'd be a massively fun thing to do, and to come back and it'd be back to normal, you know. But that's all here now, huh?
Yeah.
So it's like, of course we're going to do it. It's like, it's fun to do, you know.
So you guys both have very successful hot food stands. What do you think is the secret to a successful hot food stand?
For me, I think it's transparency, genuine in what we give to the audience.
Yeah, I think it's honest food. And I think it sort of stands apart from, you know, some of the street food things that you were discussing earlier, where there are lots of markets, there are lots of places to go.
Yes.
But from my perspective, I think some of the food out there is dubious as to where it comes from, what's in
Yes.
it. You know,
Yes.
my kids are like, their eyes are like, oh wow, that's great, I want that, Dad. I'm like, I might want to think about what's in that and why it's so cheap.
Yes, yes.
You know, and so then they're like, okay, and so they get that idea. But I think
Yes.
for me, you know, Borough Market is a place where you don't have to worry about that. Wherever you go, you know that the ingredients are going to be good and they're sourced well. That's our idea, really. What we try to do is make sure that everything comes as whole ingredients. Everything we do starts off with a whole vegetable, a whole spice, and then we see that all the way through to the food that we serve here. And for me, I know, hand on my heart, that this is good. I feed my kids this, I eat this, you know, it's like...
Yeah, like you said, you're both interested in nourishing people, not just selling something.
I believe in the yin and yang of a cooking.
Explain that to me, explain that concept.
Things like food that are young, which is like beef, chicken, they're actually very hot, very heaty for the body. So accompanied with that, you need to have a yin, which is like salad, cucumber, a little bit of pineapple, a fruit that balance out and give you good nutrition for your body.
I couldn't agree more with this.
Yes.
It's
That's
about
very
having
important.
a balanced
Yeah.
diet. I feel like you're interested in nutrition and healthy food as well, Urvesh.
It's fascinating listening
Yes.
to what you're saying about the heat and the foods
The
that
cooling,
are hot and
yeah.
foods that are cooling
Yeah.
for your body, because that's
Yes.
something I grew up with, just being told and understanding, or just
Yes.
intuitively knowing, I guess, as well, by listening to what your body does. But I love the idea of nutrition. It's really important to get the right things into your body and not to put bad things in. So, do not put the processed food in. Just put whole ingredients in, everything. And food itself should be in harmony, should be a balance of different flavors and textures. But also the nutritional aspect is super important. And I think the old diets, they didn't have scientists working out, okay, that goes with this, that goes with that.
Yeah.
It was just tested. We just eat these things, and then you go and plough a field, come back, did that work? Yeah,
Oh,
it
definitely.
worked.
Yeah. I
Okay,
think
we're
a
going to
lot
have
of-
more of that, or didn't that made me feel tired. I don't want to have that. Okay, so that's pushed to the side, and slowly the food evolves into something that's actually super good for you, and it's in harmony with your body.
You're completely right. The culinary wisdom gets passed down through the generations, and we have an intuition about what makes us feel good. And also, this lovely nutritious food that you make, it doesn't have to be boring or not tasty. You can absolutely have both things at the same time. I think sometimes there's this idea that if you want to be healthy, you have to sacrifice loving food or flavour, and
I
you
think
don't.
balanced diet is what we're looking for.
Yeah. Variety.
It's really
Lots of
variety,
variety
balance,
as well.
Do you guys ever have these kind of conversations with your customers?
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Do
we
you?
do.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's
we
fun.
do. We do.
Tell me about some of the conversations you might have with them.
People will always ask, how do you make this? I say, well, I can give you the recipe. The ingredients is very important. The method of cooking is very important. For instance, do you put the oil first or you put the onion first?
Yeah, it
Or do you
makes a
put the
big
garlic
difference.
first? There's a huge difference in all that.
No,
Yeah,
massively.
But I always believe that if I can get good ingredients in and cooked it through the method that tried and tested, that is proven good, then you can do it too. So, and the conversation also can go right up to, customers will always suggest, and they always would like something that is not on your menu,
Oh. Is that annoying?
Not really. I just tell them that, look, sorry, I don't eat those food, so I only cook what I eat, and what I cook for my family, I cook for you.
Yeah.
So keep it to that, and then you can get the food that you want from another place. Yes. Because let me do what I'm good at.
Of course.
And you do what you're good at,
Do they ever come back and tell you that they've made it at home?
I have, in the beginning of time, give recipes to customers who say, oh, I'm leaving the country, I can't come to you anymore, can you give me the recipe? I did, I gave the recipe, you can do it yourself. But then say, oh, but it's not the same. And my answer is, darling, do it 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It will be as good as mine.
I agree with
Yes,
that.
you know.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
practice makes perfect.
Yeah, practice makes perfect. And also, I think it's very important. I look around surrounding like Borough Market, I'm confident. I can send my children, like you can send your children out to any stalls, and I'm confident that they get safe food.
Yeah, quality food.
Well, the new scientist now says you are what you eat. But we know that from our great-grandparents' time,
Yeah.
when they kind of like serve the dish that balance diet on our table. So anything that you put in your body, for me, is I don't want to waste calorie, okay? I want to put food that is nutritious, tasty, and good for my body.
I completely agree.
And then I can function better. Gut health is kind of quite recent in the
It is in the
Western
last
world.
20 years.
Yes.
It's been most of the research.
Yes, recently we introduced, we've been making kombucha.
Oh, do you?
So, yes.
I love kombucha. I'm going to come and get some.
And I'm very excited about our kombucha. The taste is amazing, and it also came back tested 60 billion plus good bacteria in it.
Really?
60
Wow.
billion, yeah. Wow, good bacteria in it.
So
And
this feeds your gut microbes, doesn't it? Which
yes.
leads to a healthy
so
gut.
we want to introduce that slowly in our offerings of our hot food. So, you can have this meal accompanied with our kombucha rather than going for a beer, So it's actually all about gut health. So, and the kombucha that we made is naturally fish as well. And yes, fermented, and it has the mother, which we call it, in the bottle as well. So
for anyone who doesn't know, kombucha is a fermented
tea, yes, fermented
which
tea.
is full of it's a probiotic, so it feeds
things,
your good gut microbes.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, and it's become quite popular now. Do you
yes,
flavour
very
yours with
popular.
anything?
Yes, I flavor mine with honey and ginger.
Delicious.
Fresh juicing fresh ginger. Yeah. And honey, we get it from our local honey man from Hertfordshire.
So how do you both find being stationed in Borough Market? It's obviously such an iconic place. You must get so many customers. It's got a lot of history. What's the atmosphere like?
Well, the energy is busy.
Yeah.
There's bustle. There's lots of people doing interesting things. Lots of experts in their fields, which is really exciting. You go to any store and there's someone there who'll know what they're talking about. For me, that's exciting because then you meet like-minded people who are interested, intelligent, and want to talk about their products.
Yes.
So
I specifically want to teach. I am teaching all my staff to speak in one language. Basically, we provide home cooked quality food. Okay, we all speak the same and deliver the same message to our customers, and also very importantly that we must stress to the customer that not all rendang are equal. Okay, please come and try mine.
I think it's about time we tasted some food. Salina, you brought your rendang for us.
Yes, this is coconut rice with the beef rendang, and also I have the jackfruit rendang as well.
Oh, it looks delicious.
So as I understand, this is a pretty well-guarded recipe. Not many people know this, right?
Well, within my team, the process, they're all different people doing it. So I have a team who just processed the beginning of stage 1, stage 2, another team doing it, and stage 3, another team doing that. So they don't really know my recipe.
Why don't you want to share your recipe?
I'm not ready yet. Maybe I'm a little bit selfish, but hey, let it keep it for a little bit more longer. And maybe I will share one day, But I have the recipe.
It's
That's
fantastic.
lovely. The
Do you wanna
jackfruit, the
try it?
jackfruit's really yummy.
Yeah,
No,
that's the
no,
jackfruit.
beef, no.
The level of depth there is incredible, and the tenderness of the beef, fantastic.
The flavor, yes.
So,
the flavor.
are these cooked in the clay pots?
Yes, I cook this in a clay pot.
Isn't that
yeah.
interesting? Yeah,
How
so
many
lovely.
spices go into these dishes?
Spices itself is like 12, plus the other 2 herbs. Three herbs, actually.
Because it's
3
so
herbs.
fragrant.
Yes,
It's got just so many notes to it.
yes. I have 12 plus the other 3, so 15 altogether. A little bit more than KFC.
Urvesh, what have you brought for us to try? This food looks absolutely gorgeous.
Okay, so these are all lovely things that we sell here on the market. So we've got here our thali. Thali means plate. And so, but for the market, it doesn't quite work. So we've got them in these lovely boxes. And so we've got a combination of different things here. So we've got the mung bean dal, we've got the cauliflower and peas, and the potato with fenugreek. And then we've got cumin rice. And then we've got a lovely raita in there as well with freshly grated cucumber and mustard seeds.
Oh, mustard seeds, yeah, I can taste that. What else goes into the dal?
So the dal, the tempering, or in Gujarati you'd say vagar. In Hindi it's often known as tarka. And so basically the main spices that go into that are cumin. So searing hot oil into which you throw your spices. The spices infuse the oil with all the flavour. So there'll be ginger, there'll be chilli, there's garlic, and there's the cumin as mentioned. There's ground coriander and ground cumin, which has been roasted, similar to what you were speaking about, your roasted spices. And then the right amount at the right time, curry leaves and tomato, all that stuff goes in there, and then you mix it with the mung beans.
That's so delicious, so comforting, and also so varied. There's a lot of different things going on, but they all work together really well.
So what you're eating here is representative of Gujarati food as it would have been eaten maybe a couple of hundred years ago in the village, if not longer. The dal is always in store. You've always got a store of dals in dry beans or pulses, so you can draw upon them at any time of the year. And then you've got the more seasonal things perhaps, so you've got cauliflower and peas, you've got potato with fresh fenugreek, and then you've got the cumin rice, cucumber in the raita. The yogurt would be from next door's cows. You know, it's sort of like everything in there is representative of something that would have been eaten for a very long time. And we haven't changed it much. They've taken out some of the sugar in the dal, reduced that down to something that's balanced as opposed to overpowering.
It doesn't taste
No, it shouldn't do at all.
Tell me what else you've brought.
So we've got samosas here. I bought the samosas here because they're fun to eat. We were talking about fun eating on the market.
These look so delicious and crispy.
Yeah. So
wow, this is my breakfast. I'm really happy about this.
And there's so much process involved in all this food. You know, even the pastry itself, there's about 3 different processes just to make the pastry before it even.
How is it difficult to make this pastry?
So you take your flour and your water and you mix it together in the right ratios. You make a dough. You split it into 2 pieces. You make little balls out of them. You roll them out so that they're small discs. Then you oil them, put them together, roll them out bigger, and then you toast them on both sides. Then you peel them apart.
Wow.
You cut them in half, and then you've got your pastry to start your samosa.
The expertise. These are delicious.
The lovely thing about samosas is part of the process. The process of making it is community and family. So you you can't do them on your own. You can, but it's much nicer when you do them together. So in the kitchen, when all the other cooking's done, we do the samosas because we all then gather around the table, and then we've got the filling, which has been made beforehand, and then we've got the pastry, which is a process in itself, and then we all work together to make them and fold them and glue them together.
It's all about community, isn't it, and family.
Really nice.
And what's inside?
So you've got mixed vegetables, and you've got some little tamarind in there as well, and you've got the vagar or the tarka is made with mustard seeds with this one. And so you get a different flavour note from that.
It's so addictive. I want to eat the whole thing, but I have to speak.
It's quite easy. Do it.
Okay, guys, so finally, I would like to know your top foodie tip of the moment. This can be anything that you're enjoying right now, either something that you're cooking, some product that you're buying, a restaurant that you've been to, anything within the realm of food that you think people need to know about.
I'm quite excited about just introducing different elements into the food. So here at the market, my food is pretty much as Granny Modo made it. So that's the idea, right?
Yeah.
Whereas at home, I'm a bit more playful. So at the moment, I'm experimenting with tempeh, which is, we were talking about fermented foods earlier. Yeah, it's really amazingly good for you, but it's also a good alternative to meat because it's got all the nutrition that you need in it. And for me, it's interesting because it's outside of my Gujarati world, and it's like bringing something in and seeing what happens with it. So that's my thing at the moment.
That sounds great. Salina?
I've been experimenting with our kombucha, which we just talked about earlier. If you notice, people are not really interested in taking too much alcohol now. They're going to less alcohol drinks. So might be something that could take off. We never know.
I think so.
Interesting. It's always good to be trying new things.
Yes, trying new things, because I think we love food. So for us, it's an enjoyment. It's not a work anymore. I don't feel it's
something
work.
That's really fun.
Yes,
that we
it's
enjoy.
really exciting.
Oh, wow. Guys, well, your passion for your food and sharing your food really comes across, and it's been so much fun to speak to you and learn about your stories. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Honestly, I've had a great time. So thank you so much,
pleasure.
guys.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Borough Talks. Make sure you follow the podcast so you don't miss an episode, and we can't wait to see you next time. Cheers, guys. Borough Talks was hosted by me, Giulia Crouch. Produced by James Deacon. Video content by Piers Hunt Dunn. Audio, editing and sound design by Chris Attaway. Special thanks to Nina and Bethan at Borough Market, Becky at Tape, and everyone who spoke to us and fed us. This has been a tape production.
Thank you very much. Good one, yeah?